He thought he was being clever when he said it, leaning back in that leather chair, glass of whiskey in hand, his grin just wide enough to make my skin crawl. "I made a major business move while you were away," he said. "Sold your jewelry. Every piece of it. They funded my empire." I remember the silence that followed. It wasn't shock, it was calculation. I just smiled, because the jewelry he sold wasn't mine anymore. We met 8 years ago, when I still believed in fairy tales with expensive suits. He was charming, disarming even, the kind of man who looked like he was born with power in his veins and promises on his lips. He said he saw strength in me. I mistook that for love. Back then, I didn't know he measured everything in ownership. Our first year together was golden. Dinners that stretched past midnight, vacations that blurred into silk and champagne. But slowly, the tone shifted. Compliments turned into comparisons. "You're lucky to have me," he'd say, as if I were an accessory he picked out himself. The jewelry collection was my sanctuary. Each piece had a story. My grandmother's emerald ring, the sapphire necklace from my father. He mocked them once, said they were dead weight. I should have known he was weighing them already. The first sign came 3 months before it happened. He started locking his phone. Small thing. Then business trips that left no trace on his calendar. And finally, a bank statement, one with a withdrawal that matched the appraisal of my diamond set almost exactly. I didn't confront him. I just watched. Watched him walk around our house like a king, thinking he owned every inch of it. Watched the way he'd check my reactions when he lied, like testing a rope for weakness. When I left to visit my family, I already knew. I left my jewelry box deliberately unlocked. A test, a temptation. He failed right on cue. You see, 6 months earlier, after his last business investment nearly bankrupted us, I transferred ownership of my jewelry quietly to a private trust in my name. Every piece was replaced with replicas so flawless even he wouldn't notice. My real collection sat safely in a vault under a different name entirely. When he sold those pieces, he didn't sell mine. He sold his own illusion of control. I returned home on a Sunday evening. The house smelled of whiskey and arrogance. He was waiting in the living room, that smug half-smile already forming. "I made a major business move while you were away," he said. "Sold your jewelry. Every piece of it. They funded my empire." I asked, softly, "What empire?" He smirked. "The one that'll finally make us rich." I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was poetic. He thought he'd outsmarted me. He didn't realize he'd just committed fraud, selling counterfeit goods, forged certificates, false appraisals, all under his name. The next morning I called my lawyer, then the bank, then the insurance company. Within a week, his empire began to crumble. His accounts froze. His investors pulled out after learning the assets backing his business move were fake. The police got involved when the buyer of my jewelry filed charges for fraud. He tried to pin it on me, said I must have switched them. But the trust documents, dated months before, proved otherwise. He'd sold what he didn't own. He'd built his empire on glass. And I didn't raise my voice. I didn't gloat. I simply packed my things, the real jewels among them, and left. 2 weeks later, I attended the auction where his remaining assets were being liquidated. He was there too, in the back, looking smaller than I remembered. He saw me across the room. Our eyes met. He mouthed, "You planned this." I didn't deny it, because I had. Every step, every silence, every smile. Revenge isn't rage, it's restraint. It's letting the world do the cutting for you. He always said I didn't have a business mind. Funny,
I turned his own greed into a transaction, one he'll pay for the rest of his life. Now, when I open the velvet cases in my new apartment, I don't see jewels anymore. I see lessons. Each diamond a reminder that silence can be sharper than any blade. He thought selling my jewelry would fund his empire. He never realized I was building mine long before he touched a single piece. And in the end, he didn't sell my jewels, he sold his freedom.